What's up, guys? Johnny here. Welcome back. Today, I got something a little bit interesting for you. At least I find it really interesting. So something recently that happened is whenever someone wants to start just an absolute storm on the internet, on Facebook, they're off the topic of MultiGP 2-minute races. They suck. We need to change them. They gotta go. Blah, 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 blah. 800 comments later, just a bunch of stuff. A lot of things always come out. You got the guy saying, hey, I want 30-second races. I want just full throttle 45 seconds. You know what? Let's just race to the starting line. We're going to do a whole shot only race. Whoever wins the whole shot, you win the race. You get the other end of the spectrum where guys are saying things like, hey, I want to see 4-minute, 5-minute races. Let's do 5-minute races. And one thing I always see is guys cheering on limited spec racing. I want to do limited spec. If we do limited spec, we can go 4 minutes, we can go 5 minutes, we can do 3 minutes, whatever it is. So, you know what? Me personally, I don't know the pilots making these claims. I don't know the pilots running limited spec, but they just keep cheering it on. So you know what? I'm going to put that limited spec to the test. All right, so I went through and I built my own limited spec quad right here. The way limited spec works is you're basically running the Emax 2300 kV, not even the S version, the 2205 motors. You're running 50-40 props. I only had a handful of these, so hopefully I don't break these today, but that's what you're running. You gotta have a minimum of 600 grams on the quad. I put a GoPro thing on this thing, the battery, everything came out to exactly 600 grams. So even this, it barely reaches that minimum. So just keep that in mind. 600 grams is actually a lot for a quad. They encourage the use of a GoPro. GoPro is not required, but damn does it look good. So that's one thing I really missed this year going faster, is having that pretty HD footage to look at. Unfortunately, today's pretty much a nasty ass day, but you know what? At least I'll have HD footage of that nasty ass day to look at today. So then what I did is I came out here to the field and I measured out UTT5, the Nautilus UTT track. That's a track which pretty much most people should be familiar with. That's one that you guys can set up on your own, get your own times, understand roughly what I'm putting in, see how they last. I brought my regular 6S quads, I brought my limited class quad here. How do they compare on this track? What does the time differences look like? The real thing I want to test though is what does that battery look like? They do not allow HV charging on a maximum of 1600 milliamp hour pack. So what's that going to look like? So I brought a handful of 4S batteries. I'm going to charge them up just to normal, 16.8 charge, no HV charging. Try to run 3 minutes on this track. They're claiming 3-minute racing, 4-minute racing. Well, if I can push on this little tiny UTT track, we'll see how long it lasts. So I don't think that this is actually the perfect track to test with because it's not as technical as some other maneuvers. What I've noticed is the highest amp draw seems to happen on things with lots of maneuvers. So if I'm doing a ladder, you see that amp draw get really high. If you're doing a corkscrew, the amp draw gets really high. This, it's pretty much a straight shot through. It shouldn't be too bad, but I'm really curious to check it out. Anyway, I got this quad just built. I haven't actually tested it yet. I don't know if it hovers. Hopefully it works. If it works, we're gonna put it on the test here, run that through a bunch of time, get used to how it flies, see what the best I can do, then switch over to that 6S quad and see how she compares, and then we'll talk about it. Let's start hitting up that track. Alright guys, first pack in the book. The camera is definitely different than I'm used to. It's just a Runcam Swift with a 2.5mm lens. Usually I'm used to maybe a 2.3, a little bit wider than that. Actually running a CMOS sensor, but you know what? I'm getting used to it, that's alright. That one pack, it felt okay, but man, these things are just super weak. So when they say limited class, they mean limited class. You go like 75% throttle, you punch to 100%, it doesn't make too much of a difference. So probably need to work on your efficiency. I don't know if I'm getting too much by going 100%, but you just have to. Even on this track, this little track, you got to go to 100%. Probably got to change the camera angle a little bit to get used to where I am with the normal way it flies. But man, this thing just, it flies like a boat. You know, this is the absolute bottom weight you can fly in limited class, and it does not control very well. It doesn't have a lot of power. It doesn't carve very well. It's not flying very well. But I also say is 3 minutes, that's not going to happen out here. Even on this track, after about 2.5 minutes, it got pretty low. It was sagging real hard. 2.5 minutes is great for 4S, but it's not the 3-minute races we were promised. So it's also my first pack through. So I'm thinking, as I get more used to it, it's probably gonna get drained even more. So that kind of lines up with my expectation. I didn't expect it to really be 3 or 4 minute racing, but you know, I did want to give it the benefit of the doubt and just try it out. But I am having fun flying it. I don't have as much fun as my regular quad yet, but I'm gonna keep pushing and see what it does. At least I'll have that HD footage to look at. So I'm having a little bit of trouble with the timing system, so I don't know what sort of times I'm putting in yet on the laps, but I'm gonna try to get that fixed up and hopefully get some times to look at real soon. It's Alright, timing system's still not working, which is really frustrating. I want to know what those lap times were. I didn't feel like I was flying too well, but I did go to a slightly older R-Line 1550 battery on that one versus my 1600 China Hobby lines. And after about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, it just sagged hard. So I was down to 13 volts. It could barely pull out of corners. It wasn't flying well, even after just 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm trying to get faster, so I want to see how low it gets and which batteries I got to use and how it works out. But first things first, I got to fix that timing system. Alright guys, finally that timing system's working, so it's giving me feedback, which is actually really helping me out. I did notice I had to land just before about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, about 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So that's right around the 2 minutes finisher lap pace that I'm lasting on these batteries. So that one, I actually use this pack right here, a Square R-Line 1550. This is probably my newest 4S pack that I have. It's in real good shape, probably about 5-6 cycles on it max. So it's about as good as it's going to get for me in flying in this limited spec. So good to see. Roughly 7.5 was my time. I had 7.53, I think was my best. I think I had 3 different laps at 7.5, maybe 2, a bunch of 7.6s, 7.7s, 7.8s. So I'm very consistent out there, flying pretty well. It is fun flying like this. It would actually be a lot of fun if a bunch of guys were flying these things and were pushing them hard, because I don't feel like I'm going to get a lot faster on this track with these, but you know what? Let's throw a few more packs on there, push it as low as we can go, and then switch over to 6S and see how we do with the real quad. Alright guys, 7.41 seconds is my best run out here with this limited spec quad. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot better. I think I can get a little bit better, but man, is it tough. So basically the big thing I'm noticing is that I start using more and more throttle, get closer to full throttle. The thing it kind of reminds me of is flying like the DRL sim, trying to do the Swatch tryouts, how you just kind of pin the throttle and try to keep it there as long as you can and lift as little as you can off the throttle. That's kind of what it's like out here, but it's even worse performing than the Racer 3 in that sim. So what I mean by that is where I really struggle is this turnaround here at the start gate. It wants to die so bad, and so you're just trying to like keep it enough so you can make it through. And there are a couple of times I smacked the outside of that gate because I just don't have the power to pull it through there. So I think I'm gonna call it there for the limited spec quad. 7.41 seconds. Remember that time. Let's get out the 6S quad. Let's start getting used to it again. Let's fly on this track and let's see how we do in comparison. Let's see how the battery life does. That's pretty much the standard is about 2 minutes 10 seconds, 2 minutes 15 seconds. That's all I'm getting out here with the limited spec quad. So time to see what the 6S quad does on the same track. Is it better battery life or worse?
We've justified our sin, and we're gonna take you on a ride till we find answers within. Location not here, in shadows we all disappear. Hold on, switch gears, we're gone as fast as we appeared.
Alright guys, 2 packs in on the 6S quad, totally different feel. It flies nothing like that limited spec quad. Just, man, it just jumps, it goes, it carves, you can turn like nothing, just so much more fun to fly. It's just a blast. And what I did is I actually flew a 1300 Tattoo 6S pack. I did not HV charge it. I flew the full 3 minutes, and I did have a slight bobble, so maybe I wouldn't have got 3 minutes without it, but I got significantly longer battery life at a significantly faster speed than limited spec. I don't think limited spec at all is the answer to save battery life. I think it's way less fun. It's not going to be for me. I think it could be kind of cool to race those things with other guys. The chance of crashing is a lot less, I think, except for mid-airs. You get that HD footage to look at. I think it can be a lot of fun. But, man, if you get guys out here with quads like this, with the 6S quad, and you just push hard, and you guys are neck and neck like you see with me in beast mode, man, that is so much more fun. That's really the racing I want to be doing. Kudos is to limited spec guys. I'm a big fan of trying new things. I'm a huge fan that you guys are doing different things and that you love your format and you're trying to spread it. I'm a big fan of that. But what I'm going to say is stop trying to push it on the rest of us that it's the answer to our battery issues. It's not the answer to our battery issues. Right there at a 6.1 with my 6S quad. 2 batteries in, 6.1. I think that's 0.4 seconds off the current leaderboard #1 spot. I mean, come on, guys. It's not comparable racing. It's not comparable flying. I get the appeal of it. Keep doing it. Cool. Just stop trying to push it on us. That's what I'm going to leave you with. Anyway, I'm going to go out here, try to get what's left of this light. Man, winter's coming fast, but I'm going to try to fly what I can, see if I can beat that 6.1 with my 6S quad. Have a lot of fun. Guys, let me know what you guys think about limited spec. Have you guys tried it out? Do you have limited spec quads of your own? Do you want to see it spread? Am I being kind of an elitist and saying I don't really want to fly it and I don't think it's the answer to our battery issues? Let me know down below. I want to hear from you. It's not for me. Maybe it's for you. I'm going to go enjoy my 6S quad and rock the hell out of this course. And anyway, guys, I'm going to catch you later. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Peace!